and was shut down because of the coronavirus. And so for many, many different reasons, it made a lot of sense to try and revive it here this week. And it's thanks to these wonderful musicians, everyone involved, that actually happened. It's going to be a great night. And the other thing that's different tonight is that all of the contributions that are sent in to Noche through the Square Cash app or that PayPal link, or checks that are marked that way that get mailed to us, will be split as donations to Creative Visions or the Des Moines chapter of the NAACP. So keep that in mind, and let's hopefully, in addition to enjoying the music and performances here this evening, raise as much money as possible. We thank you very much for your support. We love being in this wonderful community here in Des Moines, Iowa. Without further ado, I am going to bring to the stage the impresario behind this evening's show, Mr. Brandon Finlay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Even a superficial look at history reveals that no social advance rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. Every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering, and struggle, the tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals. Without persistent effort, time itself becomes an ally of the insurgent and primitive forces of irrational emotionalism and social destruction. This is no time for apathy or complacency. This is a time for vigorous and positive action. Tonight we are gathered, as we did last year, in loving memory and living spirit to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His words still ring true 52 years after his murder in Memphis, Tennessee. And there's power in that, but there's also sadness, as so many of the same struggles he faced then we still face today. As Max mentioned, everything that is donated tonight will be split among the Des Moines branch of the NAACP, who you will be hearing from a representative tonight, as well as the Creative Visions Human Development Institute. We will be speaking with a representative of the NAACP at the set break, so please, in the words of people who are actually doing the work with their own hands and doing the advocacy work, they said the money is vital, yes, but it's actually the information and the awareness and a chance to talk directly to people who may not have ever heard from us or may not who have engaged with us that is perhaps even more important. And you have a chance to do that tonight. My wife and I have been married for 15 years now, and it was about 2 months into our marriage the first time I experienced what it would be like to be married to an African-American woman in our country in the worst possible way. And the events of forever in our country, there is more tension on them now, but we cannot forget the words of Dr. King. What is required of us? In that respect, I wish you to listen to the musicians tonight. Listen to what they have to say, not just through their words, which are beautiful. Much of what you hear tonight is original or an original arrangement of something that exists already. Listen to what they do with it with their heart and their soul. Listen to it with your heart and your soul. Let it change you. That's the best thing you can possibly allow. My wife and I had a long conversation yesterday, and she asked me to put my words into thoughts, and I came down to one thing that I wish for everybody. And this is due in part to my friendship with Dr. Damani Phillips, who will be on saxophone tonight. My main thought, if I could speak any truth into anyone watching this tonight, is that to perhaps consider You've got to resist the urge to shrink the enormity of the beauty and brilliance of other people down to the size of your understanding. And instead, we should all work to increase the size of our understanding to fit the enormity of what makes them beautiful and brilliant. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce the members of the band tonight who are going to help you do that. On keyboards tonight, on piano, a friend of mine, a wonderful musician, a man who understands Southern soul music in a beautiful way. Would you please welcome Jason Danielson on keyboards. On bass tonight, a man I've admired for a long time, and I'm very happy to have become friends with him, and you're going to love his bass playing tonight. Would you please welcome Mr. Blake Shaw. On drums tonight, we have a 2019 Iowa CJC Jazz Hall of Famer, and when you hear him play, you'll understand why. A tremendous human with a significant sense of humor. Would you please welcome Mr. Pete Simonson on drums. As I mentioned before, perhaps one of, and this sounds weird, you know, we live in a world with the Jimi Hendrixes and the Led Zeppelins and the John Coltrane's, but one of the finest musicians I've ever seen in all the 20 years I've traveled this country writing about music, playing music. One of my favorite human beings and a man who's been a mentor and a guide to me in tonight's type of conversation. Would you please give a warm welcome in your homes to Dr. Damani Phillips. You're going to hear from additional people tonight, and either myself or this next person I'm going to introduce will introduce them at those times. We do have some special guests, but for right now, to get the music started, would you please welcome to the stage my wife, Mrs. Tina Haas Finley, everybody. Have a good night and enjoy.
Can you feel the healing on the way? As we all return to love from where our hearts have gone astray. A miracle's emerging as we pray. As the glory of true freedom's light shines brighter every day. Brighter every day. Now make our stand. Let us testify all across this great land. Overcome hate with love. Overcome hate with love. Overcome hate with love. Overcome hate with love. Can you feel the healing on the way? As we all return to love from where our hearts have gone astray. A miracle's emerging as we pray. As the glory of true freedom's light shines brighter every day. Brighter every day. Raise your hands up high for the callings at hand. On this battle cry, we must now make our stand. Let us testify all across this great land. Overcome hate with love. Overcome hate with love. Overcome hate with love. Overcome hate with love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. waging war. We commit to waging peace. We shall overcome with the power of love. Bring it down. Where there is pain, we will bring the joy. When times are hard, we will rise above. With every raging war, we commit to waging peace. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome with the power of love. Oh yeah, yeah. It's all about when the power of love overcomes the love of power. When the power of love overcomes the love of power. That's when everything gonna be alright. Everything gonna be alright. I said, overcome hate with love. We're gonna overcome hate with love. We're gonna overcome. We shall overcome hate with love. One, two, one and two and three and four. Ooh, hey, yeah. Now I don't know about you, but as I sing this next song, I'm just getting a vision in my head about what it would have been like to be alive at the time of this horrific event in our nation's history. I can only imagine the catastrophic, devastating fallout that instantly happened, that overcame us all and brought us all to our knees for a time. So much pain, so much unnecessary, needless pain, violence, because of hate. Because of hate. Because of hate. I'm so thankful for a night like this when we can do our part to try to raise us back up where we belong, to the level of love that must win. That must win. We really will overcome. We can. Man lay dying in the street. 1,000 people fell down on their knees. Oh, any other day, you know, he would have been preaching, yeah, reaching other people there. But Lord knows I can't change what I saw. I say God rest his soul. Oh, Memphis battleground, oh, it was red. Blood came pouring from his head. Oh, women and children falling down, crying, crying, crying. Ooh, for the man they loved so well. Hey, Lord knows I can't change what I saw. I say God rest his soul. Give it up for Dr. Damani Phillips. Bring it down, bring it down. The morning sun is gonna rise again. Oh, the passions growing thin. Oh, what we're gonna do when war is come. We are dying, 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 dying for the cause I know. Hey, Lord knows I can't change what I saw. I say God rest his soul. God rest his soul. Anybody here? Is anybody here? He had a dream, he had a dream, he had a dream. Woo! Anybody here? See my old friend Martin.
If you're in Memphis, Tennessee, and you go to the National Civil Rights Museum, towards the end of your tour, you end up winding your way through many displays, and you end up inside a door that leads out to a balcony. And to your left, you see a beautiful golden tenor saxophone. And below it, you see a beat-up old vinyl record by Ben Branch and the SCLC Operation Breadbasket Orchestra and Choir. And that record is called The Last Request. And the reason they called it that is because as Dr. King was standing just outside that door on that balcony, he leaned over and he pointed to Ben Branch, a very talented saxophonist who gave up some aspects of his career to tour and be an activist and try and win something better for himself and the people he considered his family. And he goes, "Are you going to play Precious Lord?" "Yes, sir. Yes, Doc." He goes, "Play it pretty for me." And that's about the point where you lose the ability to speak, when you take in the enormity of where you are and everything going on and the history, heavy history that took place there 4 to 5 minutes later. Those are some of the last words that Dr. King ever spoke, were play it pretty for me. And in honor of that last request, we're going to bring up our next musician, a very talented theater artist in his own right, a man who has been making many people happy for many, many, many years in this metro. A dear friend of my family and a man I call a personal friend and a very talented artist. Please welcome Mr. Aaron Smith.
What is this vision I see before me? Could this be my wildest dream? There it is. There it is. A land where hunger is no more. A land where war is no more. A land where richness is no more. Color is no more. Destruction is no more. Only love. Radical, fierce love the promised land here on earth. I accept. I will never walk through that blessed garden over yonder, that lush land just on the far side of the moon. It is so. Well, nobody said it was going to be easy. Nobody said it happened in an instant. Everybody said we'd never get there. But then again, nobody thought we'd make it this far. Can I get an amen? I said, can I get an amen? You have wandered the desert, that flame and sands burning your feet, but you are standing at the edge of Canaan, on a mountaintop made of dreams of men and women who have paid the ultimate price with their lives. Children of the Nile, you must rise, as you can no longer walk weary through the world with willow backs. Your time is now. Now, I tell you now, the baton may have been dropped, but anyone can pick it back up. I don't know where in the race we are, but pick up the baton and pass it along. This baton is no longer the burden my image can bear, for you are the climbers, the new carriers of the cross. I beg you, implore you, don't give in and toss it off. On this here mountaintop, there is beauty to behold. The promised land, your promised land, in black and white and blue and brown and gold. Canaan is calling. She's calling for you to come. The promised land is so close and yet so far. So close and yet so far. So close and yet so. Precious Lord, take my hand and lead me on. Let me stand. I'm tired and I am weak and I am worn through the storm, through the night. Lead me on to the light and take my hand. precious Lord, and lead me on. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. I would like to welcome to the stage our next special guest, our first special guest of the night, a tremendous human being who, again, is another one of my favorites, a man I've learned a lot from, and I dare say a pillar of our community. Would you please give a warm welcome to the Honorable Odell McGee.
To Martin. Maybe dreams cannot come true, but like mountains, they give shape to the horizons, reference points to guide us on our way toward places long promised in a distant dawn. You know, Moses never reached the promised land. And like you, Martin, he died up on a mountain, resting on the hopes of his dreams. He moved like waves upon the shore that breaks across the yielding sand. Waves that rush ravenously up to the shore and then withdraw, though not before they remold the land. If change await the tides, so let it be. But the waves will not cease to break when tides are low. You know, we must fight for justice unendlessly, uplifted by the forward undertow that is no disappointment in our song. However much injustice still remains, each generation needs to come on strong, building on those little small incremental gains, knowing that we are proud of what we won, in spite of all the lives and the labor that is lost. No cause where worth one's love is ever done. You see, good is good, regardless of the cost. There is no end to struggle, no safe refuge in which one can say, yes, I have arrived. Each generation must behold its own beauty, reaching for its uncompromising goodness. You see, there's a joy in going forward, no matter how small, but going forward. You see, justice is a wave that breaks, and then it returns. It returns. It returns again and again, like the words of Martin Luther King. Maybe dreams can't come true, but like mountains, they give shape to the horizon, reference points to guide us on our way toward places.
The very day of that tragic event, the great Nina Simone composed a visceral, volatile, emotional outcry of a response. And it was performed the very next day. So, before I sing it, I would like to quote the very words that Nina Simone spoke right before she sang it for the very first time, when the grief was so raw in our nation's heart. She said these exact words: "We want to do a tune written for today, for this hour, for Dr. Martin Luther King. We've stated before that this whole program is dedicated to his memory, but this tune is written about him and for him." So we had yesterday to learn it, and so we'll see. We'll see. Once upon this planet Earth lived a man of humble birth, preaching love and freedom for his fellow man. Yes, he was dreaming of the day peace would come to earth to stay, and he spread this message all across the land. Turn the other cheek, he'd plead. Love thy neighbor was his creed. Pain, humiliation, death, he did not dread. Oh, with his Bible at his side, from his foes he did not hide. And it's hard to think that this great man is dead. This man is dead. Oh, 'cause he'd seen the mountain top, and he knew he could not stop. Always living with the threat of death ahead. Now, folks, you better stop and think, because we're headed for the brink. What will happen now? What will happen now that this great man is dead? Yes, once upon this planet Earth lived a man of humble birth, preaching love, preaching freedom for his fellow man. Yes, oh, he was dreaming. He had a dream about the day peace would come to earth and stay. And he lived his life spreading that message all across the land, all across the land. Oh, because he'd seen that mountain top, and he knew that he could not stop. No, oh, always living with that threat, the threat of death. dead. Dr. King is dead. I think this is one of those moments like the Bible when we need to take a pause. Remember seeing that word on the pages of Scripture, if you're familiar with the Bible, that says Selah? That was a moment that calls for a Selah, a pregnant pause. This next song features Blake Shaw. Please listen to the words. It's about freedom. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Blackbird sings as blackbird flies. All my life waiting to rise. Take sunken eyes, learn to see. Afro blue sky, blackbirds free.
Elegant boy, beautiful girl, dancing for joy, delicate world. Shades of delight, cocoa hue, rich as the night, afro blue.
Takes broken wings and learns to fly. Blackbird sings in dead of night. All of my life waiting to rise into the night. Blackbird fly.
At the height, slowly subside. Shades of delight, cocoa hue, rich as the night, afro blue.
Blackbird sings as blackbird flies. All of my life waiting to rise. Takes sunken eyes, learns to see. Afro blue sky, blackbirds free. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring back to the stage, once again, Aaron Smith.
Hi. It's a really, really somber time. We're celebrating Dr. King, and it's hard not to do that without some tears and some heartbreak. So we've decided to take a moment in the show to add a little levity. In other words, to act a fool, if y'all ready. We're going to do that by sticking with the jazz theme and going way back to Fats Waller from his beautiful medley of songs in Ain't Misbehavin'. And without further ado, so hit it. What's that running around in here? Up in Harlem at a table for two. Well, there were the four of us, baby. Me, your big feet, and you. From your ankles up, I say you sure are sweet. But from there down, baby, you just too much feet. All your feet's too big. Don't want you 'cause your feet's too big. Mad at you 'cause your feet's too big. I really hate you 'cause your feet's too big, yeah. Da 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 da. Where'd you get 'em? Na na na. Your girl, she likes you. She said she thinks you're nice. She said you got what it takes to take her to paradise, yeah. She likes your face. Say she loves your rip. Oh, but look at him. Look at him. Feet's too big. All your feet's too big. Don't want you 'cause your feet's too big. Mad at you 'cause your feet's too big. I really hate you 'cause your feet's too big. Now, your pedal extremities are colossal. To me, you look just like a fossil. You got me walking, talking, and squawking 'cause your feet's too big. Can't go nowhere with you 'cause your feet's too big. Can't get in the bed next to you 'cause your feet's too big. Look at him, look at him. Spread on across the floor. When you go and die, ain't nobody gonna solve. Undertaker's gonna have quite a job. You gonna look funny when they lay you in the casket. Look at them big feet sticking up out the basket. All your feet's too big. Don't want you 'cause your feet's too big. Mad at you 'cause your feet's too big. I really hate you 'cause your feet's too big. Nah, your feet's too big. Don't want you 'cause your feet's too big. Can't use you 'cause your feet's too big. I really hate you 'cause your feet's too big. Your pedal extremities are obnoxious. Yeah.
I'd like to introduce this next song. It is featuring Jason Danielson on the piano. It is an instrumental, but when you hear the main part of the tune, I believe that you will recognize the words. So you all can just sing along at home. And even more importantly, think about the ways that we can bring this song to life. Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world, red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. Featuring Jason Danielson. Ladies and gentlemen, well, I'm going to talk and then I can repeat some stuff. This is almost the end of the set, and we've got 2 more songs, and then please stay tuned during the set break because we've got some very special interviews planned with some very special guests, and so you won't want to miss that. I like to call this segment the National Anthem segment. First, we're going to do a song that is known by many of us as the Black National Anthem. And then we're going to end with a brand new world premiere. There I am. Then we're going to end with a brand new world premiere that, if you listen closely, has a Star-Spangled Banner National Anthem connection. So once again, to repeat, 2 more songs, and then we're going to shift into speaking and interviews for 20 minutes, and then we'll be back with a great set too. So please sing along at home, get up and dance and clap. This is the Black National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, hey! Every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. The faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the day that hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place on which our Father died. Now we have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading the path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last where the white gleam of our star is cast. Hey, hey, hey! Lift every voice and sing of freedom. Lift every voice and sing of freedom. Lift every voice and sing of, come on! Lift every voice and sing of freedom. Lift every voice and sing of freedom. Woo! Every voice and sing of freedom. Lift every voice and sing of freedom, freedom, freedom. Here we go. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us this far along the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever, forever in the path we Now lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts drunk with the wine of the world we forget thee. Shall believe and may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land, true to our native land. Hey, lift every voice and sing of freedom. Lift every voice and sing of freedom. Come, lift every voice and sing of freedom. Lift every voice, hey, 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 hey. Lift every voice and sing of, sing of, sing of. Lift every voice and sing of, sing of. Hey, drums, drums, drums. Here we go. Lift every voice and sing of freedom. Come, lift every voice and sing of, sing in the room. Oh yeah, lift every voice and sing of freedom. Lift every voice and sing of freedom, 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 freedom. Lift every voice and sing of, sing of. Sing of freedom! Woo! Lift every voice and sing of freedom. Lift every voice and sing of your freedom. Lift every voice and sing of my freedom. Lift every voice and sing of everybody's freedom. Everybody's freedom. Everybody's freedom. Everybody. Everybody. Everybody's freedom. Lift every voice and sing up, sing up. Come on. Hey, 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 yeah. Lift every voice and sing up freedom, 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 freedom. We have come to the last song of this already powerful set one. I am sitting just out of camera range on stage right, and I'm getting the texts. I'm seeing the messages. Already people weighing in that they're already very impacted by what they're seeing and hearing tonight. And I know that I am. I am very, so much that I can hardly speak and hardly get through it. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing in this cause. It's not about us showing off our talent. It's about using art for in the very best way, for the very best reason, for the cause of this moment. And that causes love. Everybody say love. Say it at your house, love. And so I said a moment ago that this is a song that has a national anthem connection. So listen very carefully. The other day I was driving down the road, about 7th Street exit off of 235, and there's one of those little public art sayings that said, a quote by Albert Einstein, "Peace is not kept by force, but it will be achieved through understanding." And so it's moments like tonight where we can stop, we can get quiet, and we can focus on how we all, because we all need to do it, no one is exempt, how we all need to better our understanding when it comes to how we can give love, what love looks like, how we can do a better job of bringing it to life in our own words and actions, in our homes and lifestyles, and in our cities, neighborhoods, and country. And so, think about some of these things as you hear this song, to a very familiar tune, but the message is a little different for this moment in time. It's called Land That We Love. 1, 2, 3, Oh, say, can you hear angels who weep for our land? Slavery still stains us with cruel injustice and blindness. Now we must put an end to this perilous fight. Be the change, be the light, with renewed hope and kindness. I see no spangles or stars in our tears and our scars, and the banners that wave are the songs of hearts breaking. Let the healer stand up and declare love and freedom. Heed the call and rise above for this land, for this land that we love. Oh, say, can you hear angels who weep for our land? Slavery still stains us with cruel injustice and blindness. Now we must put an end to this perilous fight. Be the change, be the light, with renewed hope and kindness. I see no spangles or stars in our tears and our scars, and the banners that wave are the songs of hearts breaking. Let the healer stand up and declare love and freedom. Heed the call and rise above for this land, for this land Give it up for the band. Jason Danielson, Blake Shaw, Pete Simonson, and Dr. Damani Phillips.
Well, everyone, we're going to let the band members take a break and catch their breath. I mean, that's an amazing amount of intensity they just put on for almost an hour and a half. So with that, I would like to welcome a new friend representing the Des Moines branch of the NAACP. Would you please welcome to our floor for a conversation on relevant matters and a number of other topics, we hope. Would you please welcome Ebony Woods Nelson. How are you doing, Ebony?
I am safely social distancing. How
Yes, that's right. So folks at home, I'm sure if you can't hear us, we've got the floor mic'd up. So we're just gonna have a friendly chat here for a few minutes while the band takes a break. Again, tonight's proceeds are going to be split between the Des Moines branch of the NAACP and Creative Visions, which is an organization that was founded by our friend Akeo Abdul-Samad, who was going to be with us tonight. We've heard at this late minute that Akeo is at the Capitol fighting the fight. He's doing the work that he was elected to do and represented. He's representing us, so we can't be mad at him for that. So Akeo, we wish you are having a good night. And without further ado, Ebony, why don't you just start and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to work in public advocacy?
Well, my name is Ebony Woods Nelson. I am a proud graduate of Hoover High School, and so I am bred here in the Des Moines area. I'm actually originally from Missouri, but moved here to Iowa in childhood. And so I think how I got into public advocacy is actually very timely for the moment. I went to a national NAACP convention as a part of our AXO program, which gives young people the opportunity to display their talents. And while there, myself and my best friend at the time, Erica Carr, discovered this thing called the NAACP Youth Council, where young people could let their voices be heard on the matters that affect them in their communities. So Erica and I came back and found out that Des Moines had a charter for a youth council way back when. We worked really, really hard to get that reactivated. That youth council chapter is still active in the Des Moines community today. Years later. So for all the young people out there who have seen what's been going on in the nation in these last 7 to 10 days, and you felt galvanized, you felt hurt, you felt pain, and you wanted to do something, my beginning in advocacy was very similar, seeing that there were things going on with young people around the country and wanting to figure out how I could lend my voice to that. So kudos to everybody out there currently doing that. That's really kind of the best way to get into it sometimes is baptism by fire.
Indeed. And of course, looking at the life of Dr. King, we started off tonight's broadcast with some very powerful words from him about working towards unity and power, but also respect for individuals who are suffering. In your own life, what have the words of Dr. King, what does Dr. King's legacy mean to you as an individual?
I think, again, piggybacking kind of off of what we were saying, what I was just mentioning about how you get into advocacy, I think that one of the most powerful things about Dr. King is he began that advocacy very, very young. If you don't know the story of him going with either his father or his grandfather to the white man who owned the land that their family was sharecropping on and correcting him about the math of how much the gentleman actually owed them. He was 6 or 7 years old and in school and knew that the man was doing the math incorrectly to his father or grandfather and got shushed out of the room. I think that is the most powerful, one of the most powerful parts about Dr. King is he started using his voice incredibly young, and that it is important for each of us to feel like we can use our voice. He was incredibly eloquent, right? And I think that people get tripped up thinking I'm not as eloquent or as articulate. I don't know how to stand in front of people or a camera, and that's scary. But dive in there, get in there. There's work to be done. There's a lane for you. And I think that's the most enduring legacy of Dr. King is start using your voice young, use it early, use it often, and don't be afraid to get in there.
Indeed. I'd like to break that down for a second.
Sure.
You mentioned a lot of folks, a range of ages, who are perhaps feeling galvanized in a way they never have. They may not know what it means to use their voice.
Okay.
And again, maybe speaking from your own experience, but what are some ways in which not only the NAACP tries to encourage people to use their voices, but to again use their own gifts and talents, and just again represent who they themselves are, not to lose their individuality, but come in and be part of this bigger group movement.
So I think a couple of things are important. You're fine. I think a couple of things are important to remember is there are several different lanes of advocacy. So some people are very good at standing in front of a crowd and galvanizing with their literal voice. Some people are good at walking, and the way you are speaking is your movement in the street, marching or lobbying at a city council meeting or at a school board meeting or on Capitol Hill. Some people don't necessarily want to leave the house for health reasons, for not feeling comfortable being out and about, so maybe they donate or they organize behind the scenes. That is another way to make your voice heard, is to do the behind the scenes work, because all of it works in tandem together. Every lane has to be covered, so to speak. So you can't just have the protesters without the organizers. You can't just have the donators without the political action part of it. So find your lane, and one way I will encourage you to do that, here comes the plug. You ready? You ready for the plug?
I'm ready for the plug.
So NAACP.Des Moines.org is where you can sign up for the organization. And when you sign up for a membership, it will ask you which committee you want to be involved in.
Excellent.
So we have our 6 game changers. I think you and I were discussing that a little bit earlier. Am I jumping the gun?
No, we're going to get to that though. We are.
Okay, I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, but we have our 6 game changers. So economic sustainability, education, health, criminal justice, environmental justice, and political action. Sign up for one of those committees, get in, and then find your lane. Is it fundraising or giving donations or organizing or protesting or lobbying? Find your lane, run in it, and we will support you, and we support each other, of course.
So, and again, thank you for really clearly bringing clarity to that. I think obviously fear is something that keeps a lot of people from taking a step, because for instance, I don't want to go door to door and knock and try and talk to people, but there are thousands of other activities that people can do. So let's jump into some particulars that the NAACP Des Moines branch is working on right now. You brought up the 6 game changers. So do you want to dive into that right now?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want me to just talk, or you want to ask me a question?
Tell you, well,
because clearly I can just talk.
Well,
right?
No, that's. And first of all, you're very calm and composed in front of the camera, so we can tell what lane you like. So one of the many lanes that you're gifted in.
Actually, let me stop you right there. I am not completely comfortable in front of a camera, in front of audiences, so I can hear people from the branch saying, "No, that's not true. You've been an educator before." That part is true. So I feel like I'm pretty good at communicating a message.
I can't tell you're uncomfortable right now. You're doing great.
But to your point, you made the point about not being comfortable knocking doors. I'm not a person who feels comfortable knocking doors or making phone calls. That's actually a little bit scary to me, so that's not my lane. So that's not the one that I engage in, but I do help organize when we have phone banks, or we are trying to find people to volunteer maybe for here comes another plug. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay, so for this fall, when we're doing hopefully drive to the polls, if we're able to do that this fall, if we're able to actually physically go to polls. So when you talk about specifics as it applies to the game changers, political action, so that does include organizing for poll drives, or helping register voters, or helping pick up absentee ballots from folks who are immobile or unable to do so. That's kind of my wheelhouse, is political action. We have some former educators from Des Moines Public Schools around the metro area who had our education committee, and they do work, again, attending school board meetings, making sure the policies that are enacted or that are proposed are equitable for all of the children of Des Moines Public School System, or whichever school system around the metro area. Our health committee does health fairs, where we invite the Wellmarks and the Blue Cross Blue Shields of the world to come and talk to our membership or talk to the general public. Similarly, economic sustainability does job fairs. I can talk. I'm going to let you cut me off if you would like to.
No, I mean,
So I'm passionate about the work we do. I think our branch does a great job being a part of the Des Moines community and making sure that we are implementing those game changers here in Des Moines for our citizens. So please cut me off because I will just keep talking.
Well, speaking of uncomfortable, I'm sitting here interviewing you while we have Rekha Basu right there. So it's like, got to step the game up a little bit. So I do want to ask you a question about the 6 game changers before we get to the next one.
Sure.
If there was one where you could pinpoint for people to go tonight to their computer or their smartphone and say, we really need some folks to sign up, maybe for 1 or 2, or maybe they all need attention. Is there any particular part of one of those 6 that's sticking out to you right now?
So I'm going to say that they all need attention. They do.
Very fair.
And because I don't want to undercut what I said maybe 2 minutes ago, which is everybody can find a lane for themselves. And I don't want to say that, like I said, my passion is the Political Action Committee. But if you're a person who is passionate about criminal justice, of course, that's in the air right now, right? We've seen the different incidences around the nation. Of course, George Floyd. We've got Breonna Taylor. We saw the gentleman last night, the 75-year-old gentleman in Buffalo who was knocked over. So, of course, that is pressing on everybody's minds right now. But all 6 game changers, I think, need attention. And I also think they all feed into each other. So if every game changer is stacked, every lane is running smoothly, then we are really making progress because to a certain extent, I hate that phrase, one hand feeds the next, but that's kind of what it is. Everything has to work together for the good.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we talked about 6 game changers. Let's talk about the What's Next Facebook campaign.
Okay.
If you could just kind of lay that out for some folks.
Sure. So as I was mentioning, there's a lot of work that we do on each of the 6 game changers. And so the What's Next Facebook campaign is a daily and or weekly, just depending on how much stuff is going on that week, campaign that we are starting and have started in the last 7 to 10 days, letting you know what's next. So one thing that you've heard a lot of people say to the protesters or to the folks out in the street is, it's great that you're protesting, but you have to do something else in tandem with it, which I wholeheartedly agree with. That is part of what I've learned in advocacy is you have to have a 2-pronged approach, so to speak. So you've been protesting. We love it. We support you. Some of us are out there with you. Some of us are in the back organizing. Keep protesting, but the what's next, right? So you protested last night, for example, Monday, right? You protested in the street Monday nights. What's next on Tuesday is we had the primary. So we had our What's Next campaign, and we put out the information about how to vote in the primary. The Polk County Board of Supervisors meeting was yesterday, so that was What's Next for yesterday. So really, basically, you can get on every morning and check and see if we've put up a graphic or some information. Today's is a petition we need you to sign about criminal justice. So if you're passionate about that, go to the Facebook page NAACP Des Moines and sign the petition. It is the... I've done 6 of these this week. I'm sorry. It's the petition. Okay. Senator Zach Walls and Representative Roz Smith are promoting, I believe it's the ban on chokeholds, I think was today's. If I've got that wrong, forgive me, but sign the petition. Read what it says and sign the petition. You'll be good. So that is the What's Next campaign where we're telling you, hey, this is what you did yesterday. What's next? It is a city council meeting or a school board meeting or a petition that needs signed or a wonderful jazz bar that has invited us in, and we want you to support them when they are open for business and people can come in. So some of our What's Next is our serious and petitions and political action or political engagement, and then some of them are relaxation. Go to Lucky Lotus and support them because they supported us earlier this week. Yes. Come to Noche because they have supported us. They are tolerating me on these long, long-winded answers.
No.
So that's our What's Next campaign, and we hope that you will join the NAACP again through NAACPDesMoines.org, but also follow us on Facebook for that information.
And so an important What's Next, I believe, coming up this Monday, June 8th, is a city council meeting. And they are going to be asking the community to give comments on a potential racial profiling ban with our police department.
Correct.
And again, so those are the types of things that people can... So that's an upcoming What's Next for all of you.
You will see that Monday morning once you join this evening.
Absolutely. So So we've talked about what's next. We've talked about the 6 game changers. What are other programs for people who are like, well, maybe I'm feeling intimidated by one of those two things? What's like an entry-level advocacy experience, somebody who's never done it before, who just maybe just calls up or emails and says, I don't know how to get involved, but I want to get involved. I'm afraid, what can I do?
So entry level basic is membership.
Okay.
Okay? Numbers are power in any avenue you're looking at when you're trying to affect change. If we can say we have 350 registered NAACP member, that is completely lowballing it, but if we can say that when we go to a city council city council meeting, we can say we helped you all draft this language, we support this as an organization, and our organization has this many people in it, so this many people are backing this bill or this petition or this racial profiling ban. Just that in and of itself, the numbers are power. So if at the most basic thing you want to do, I would encourage you to join the NAACP. From there, again, I'm going to encourage you to select one of the different 6 game changers that you're interested in. We have committee meetings, and in those meetings, they will tell you what the work is that they're working on. And then, again, they will tell you, hey, we need some people who can make phone calls, or we need some people who can put stamps on these envelopes because we're doing a letter writing campaign, or we need somebody who can come stand in front of the club and talk. And then you can pick your comfort level. But what I will say again is, coming back to Dr. King, don't be intimidated. He, 5, 6, 7 years old, he was talking to grown-ups when he saw something wrong. So we have to find the moral courage, and we have to find the gumption to say, you know what, my fear cannot be bigger than the reality around me, right? I have to be able to address that head on, and I can't let fear stop me.
Amen. I also think sometimes people are intimidated by the people they'll meet.
I'm super intimidating if you can.
I know, I'm intimidated right now. So one thing that I think that people, they're amazed when they finally get past that step and they walk into something like they're just like me, like a range of political ideas, a range of experiences, a range of expectations.
Right.
And so looking at those things, so again, those are all excellent ways for people to engage. You talked a little bit about your personal advocacy. One question I wanted to ask you, and this ties back into what you were just saying about how advocacy is it's rooted at the individual level, and it builds up in strength from there. What were some of the biggest surprises, 1 or 2 biggest surprises that come to your mind that you never expected when you began working in public advocacy?
That is an incredibly good question. Something I never expected was the camaraderie of it. I think, to your point you made just a second ago, people have this idea that these are very serious matters and people are serious and we're buttoned up and intimidating, or those are the types of words that are used. But the reality is the NAACP is a completely volunteer organization, especially at the branch level. None of us are paid, from me, the general member, up to the state president. Nobody is paid for their position in the NAACP. We are doing this because we love it, because we are passionate about it, because we want to affect change, not only for ourselves, but for our children, nieces and nephews, grandchildren. And so there's a level of love and passion and camaraderie that is present when you are in these spaces, whether we're solely in an NAACP meeting or we're collaborating with another community organization. When you get in a room with people who what you want more than anything is to do good, there's just this base level of love that comes from that work and from those spaces, and it is uplifting and it is empowering. And in moments when the world feels like it's burning down, and in moments where it feels like you're not being heard, the love of those members can sustain you and carry you through and make you continue fighting, because the person next to you is in it just like you are. So that was a surprise, is because I started so young and everybody was old, and now that I'm in my blah, blah, blahs, it's not that old, but learning that as a youth, the love that people have for you as you're trying to make that change, the care that people have for you, it's not all It is serious work. It is serious work. But the camaraderie and the love in those rooms and those moments and those discussions was something that surprised me as a teenager.
Beautiful. So our 20 minutes has almost flown by. See what I mean about how
Yeah.
easy that was? So
Yes. I'll talk another time. No, I will not.
perfect. Well, I'd like to.
You want the band. You want the band.
Come on, everybody, give her a hand. She's done a great job. So, for me, one of my degrees is in education.
Okay.
Education was a cornerstone of what Dr. King believed in, what he advocated.
Absolutely.
So, I'm going to let you take this free form for the last couple minutes here.
Okay.
Obviously, the NAACP works very hard. I noticed on the local branch's Facebook page, they're sharing live streams of conversations from your national president. There are a number of educational opportunities too. So perhaps I might ask you this: what has been the power of education, self-education, organizational education that you've seen and grown with since you began volunteering with the NAACP?
So here's where that question is unfair to ask me. Both of my parents are also educators.
Oh.
And I have several aunts who are also educators.
But they aren't standing here, you are.
They are not. So my point is that education has always been a huge part of my upbringing and my world. What I will say to people is another one of our What's Next, because as you can tell, I like to tie things back. So if you go to our Facebook page, one of our What's Next posts is an educational opportunity. It is an ongoing series of Black civics history, and it's called The Bleep You Should Have Learned in School, and it is geared towards young adults, so 18 to 35, 18 to 40. That is a really easy, simple one. There are 1 hour Zoom classes starting this coming Tuesday, the 9th. They're once a week, and I'm going to be participating as well as several of our members. But your question is, what role has it played for me? And one thing I would like to say again is I've encouraged people, use your voice, use it early, use it often. One thing that is important is continuing education. So the reality is, we stand on the shoulders of the generation before us and their advocacy and their work. And as time continues and as we see that history is repeating itself, so to speak, it is important to continue to update yourself and your views on the different issues, the different topics that we are working with, whether that's reading a book, whether it's taking a class. We do have, of course, educational opportunities that we offer through our branch or through our national office, but I do call it civics or political action, continuing education, just making sure that you are taking advantage of the world around you and engaging with it for educational opportunities. So I think that it is incredibly important to make sure you are up to date and abreast of what's going on. But what I want to stress in this moment as we're talking about education is don't let that fear that I don't know enough stop you, okay? As I started off, get in there and then make education a part of it, pull it in. Right? So don't just say, oh, I don't know enough. I'm going to go study for a year and then I'll come back. No, go ahead and get in there and then ask for suggestions and take advantage of the different educational opportunities that are always around and always promoted.
Beautiful. And I think that underscores perhaps the most truest point of political advocacy is you start where you are in your journey.
Absolutely.
And the journey continues from there.
Correct. Absolutely.
So, well, you have been a wonderful interview.
Thank you.
It's been, I told you the 20 minutes would go by fast. So if you would please, again, give Ebony a wonderful hand.
Thank you.
And, way to go.
Thank you.
All right. All right, we're about to start the music again. Thank you, Ebony.
Thank you. Okay, we missed you.
Yes, we did miss you, Akeo. All right, before we begin the second set, as the musicians come to stage, again, as tonight is in loving memory and living spirit tribute to the legacy and words of Dr. King, I find it fitting to perhaps start us again with his own words. Oppressed people cannot remain oppressed forever. The yearning for freedom eventually manifests itself, and that is what has happened to the American Negro. Something within has reminded him of his birthright of freedom, and something without has reminded him that it can be gained. Consciously or unconsciously, he has been caught up by the zeitgeist, and with his black brothers of Africa and his brown and yellow brothers of Asia, South America, and the Caribbean, the United States Negro is moving with a sense of great urgency toward the promised land of racial justice. Again, to reiterate what I said in my introductory comments, you've heard an hour and a half of music. You've heard 20 minutes of a wonderful young woman who gave up a night to come and advocate for you folks to be engaged in some way. If you heard what she said, if you truly heard what she said, you don't have to be afraid that you aren't smart enough, that you aren't talented enough. It doesn't matter. If something inspires passion within you, find a way to engage that passion. Get involved in what drives you. Again, tonight's proceeds are raising money. On that note, I did see a note that Noche owner Max Wellman is matching donations for a limited period of time during the live stream. Oh, it's done. So I guess we want to thank Max Wellman for his generous matching of donations. But that was not my way of guilting Max into doing it again all over for the last hour. But again, I got a text message from a friend of mine when I was right before the set break, and he said it was worth repeating what I said to in my introductory comments. And so what I said was this: if there's one change I wish I could request from my own heart for all of us, it doesn't matter your own background, where you are, where you want to go. If there's one change I could beg and request, it would be this: to stop reducing the size, the enormity of the beauty and brilliance of another human being to fit the size of your understanding of it. And instead put your time and your energy into increasing the size of your understanding to fit the enormity of that other person's beauty and brilliance. And with that, I give you more beauty and brilliance in the form of my wonderful wife, here comes set 2. We hope you enjoy it. We will be stopping at 10 to honor what a lot of you have been looking at. So enjoy the next 60 minutes of pretty action-packed music.
One, two, three. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. Yeah. With the Lord as our Father, brothers all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Yeah. Let there be peace on earth. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my soul about. Give it up for Tamani, everybody. Woo! Jason Daniel said, oh, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me, with you and me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, yeah. With the Lord as our Father, brothers all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let there be peace on earth, oh, and let it begin, let it begin, let it begin, let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth. Let this be the moment now. Yeah, 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 yeah. With every step I take, yeah. Let this be my song about, yeah. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin with me. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin. Let it begin. Let it begin. Let it begin with me. Come on. Let it be peace. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin. Let it begin today. Let it begin right now. Let it begin at Noche. Let it begin at your house. Let it begin. Enough is enough. We need some peace. Let it begin with me. Thank you. Thank you. Let's just go to it. Let's go to it. I'll talk later. This is a song that's a familiar tune, but I really like these new modern words. They pack a punch, and they are perfect for this moment in time. I know that you'll agree. Just listen. It's called Your Peace Will Make Us One. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. You are speaking truth to power. You are laying down a sword, replanting every vineyard till a brand new wine is poured. Your peace will make us one. Oh, glory, glory, hallelujah. nursing and feeding in the wee hours of the night. Your gentle love is patient. You will never tire or fade. Your peace will make us one. Oh, glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Your peace will make us one. Yeah. The doctor is in. Give it up for Damani. Drums! Ah, in the beauty of the lilies, you were born across the sea with the glory in your bosom that is still transfiguring, dismantling our empires till everyone is free. Your peace will make us one. Glory, 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 hallelujah. Your peace will make us one. Oh, glory, 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 hallelujah. Hey! Glory, glory, hallelujah, hallelujah. Glory, 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 hallelujah. Your peace will make us one. 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 Your peace will make us
Give it up for Tina and the band. My goodness. I'd like to introduce someone very special too. Don't go away, Damani. I'm about to talk about you. Come here. We've had a little change in the script real quick here. So I'd like to introduce someone very special to talk about the next selection, but also I would like to acknowledge him. He's not only a tremendous human, and obviously you can tell he's just a beast of a musician, just a tremendous musician and man. But Damani, you want to make me step up to the other mic for a second? I'd like to ask you a couple questions if I could. Oh, I know. So, Dr. Phillips, could you please tell the audience at home who maybe don't know you or aren't familiar with your work what your daytime job is?
I am quietly over on the east side of the state. I just took over as the director of jazz studies for the University of Iowa. And
And you just celebrated completion of your first year in that role, right?
that is correct. So I've been here about 7 years. It looks like I'm going to be here for a little bit longer. So just stuck with me.
Now, another important role, and I want to talk about the academic stuff, and again, Dr. Phillips has a tremendous presence in the academic world. You wrote a brilliant book. I'd like you to talk about that book, but also you, if I remember correctly, you wrote the Master's Graduate Certificate Program in African American Studies at the same University of Iowa. Could you talk about the book a little bit, talk about the program? I understand that your first graduates from that program or just happened now or will be happening next year. Is that right?
For the certificate program,
Yes.
We actually graduated one person last year who came in with a bunch of credits already taken care of, but our primary crop of students, we graduated 6 this year.
Nice.
with that.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. And I'll be really brief about this. The crux of my work is the connection between African American culture and African American music, and the way that it is represented or arguably misrepresented in the academy, and fighting for authenticity and respect and acknowledgement being forced into the equation of how we professors speak to students about the music that we teach. It's not acceptable to teach 75% of it and leave the inconvenient 25% out, which in many respects equals the African American cultural elements. It's if you're going to teach the music, teach the entirety of it, even the parts that are inconvenient for you. So that's what the crux of the book is to, for the first time, actually lodge a defense against the common practice of ignoring or marginalizing the cultural elements of the music, enforcing it and arguing that should be a central part of what the music is. Without it, it is absent, something that is pivotal to its very existence.
Absolutely. It would not exist for a fact. The last thing I want to ask you to talk about very briefly, the song you're about to perform is perhaps one of the most haunting John Coltrane compositions ever, written in the wake of a soul-crushing tragedy wreaked upon African Americans in Alabama. And you do this song, you perform this song as part of a Jazz in the Fight for Civil Rights program that you created, that you've done a number of times. And you and I were talking earlier, I know that you're going to maybe hit pause on that for a little bit, but I know a lot of folks watching at home have seen you do that, whether it's at Iowa City, the Turner Center Jazz Orchestra. So if you could just briefly kind of introduce that work you've put together, and then please take away John Coltrane's composition for us, okay?
Sure.
Thank you, Damani.
So I put together a program about 6 years ago for the University of Iowa, discussing the way that jazz connected with the civil rights movement over the course of the years. And it was meant to be a one-off thing, and it kind of took off. And so since then, I've gotten requests from all over the nation for different iterations of the program. There's one where it's a small group quartet performance. There's one where we're joined with a big band. There's 2 versions of it where it goes to black music, so it gets outside of just jazz and gets into R&B and soul and funk music, a bunch of different iterations. And at its core, its real purpose is to address the one thing I think that we are falling short on nowadays. It's us making sure that our young folks understand fully and intimately what went down during those years. So now we're dealing with quite a new set of issues, but in reality, those issues are not new. We are reliving that same situation over and over again. And so I have young students who come to my class who are 18, 19, 20 years old and have no idea what happened in the civil rights movement apart from Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Well, there was a lot happening there, and we need to make sure that we, older folks, are sharing with our younger people the reality, inconvenient, polite, and impolite, the truth about what went down there, so that when we see things that are happening like right now, we recognize them for what they are, a retreading of old ground. It's only at that point that we find ourselves where we feel fed up enough to address it properly and squarely, and more importantly, completely. If not, then we'll be dressing the same wound for another 100 years. So that was the purpose of that program, was to make sure that young folks taking it into schools, so that they know full well exactly what happened during those events. And one of the songs that I included in that program is the one we'll play for you right now. This is written by the great tenor saxophonist John Coltrane. And it is the only song that he wrote that had overtly activist overtones, but it is an absolute beauty and was written in reaction to the Alabama church bombing in 1953. So this is Coltrane's song, Alabama.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. You know, if I'm sitting here thinking, if Dr. King were in the room watching this right now, and I'd like to think that he is by his spirit, but if he were sitting here in the flesh, I think that he would want me, regarding this next song, to bring to your attention the importance of two key words to listen for. And the key words are united and atonement. Now, notice that the word united is only a couple of letters switched around from the word untied. And that, in a nutshell, is our situation, the situation at hand. Untied must be united. And we need to change some things around to get us there. And part of what will get us there is atonement, which some people explain as meaning at one-ment. And so this is a song that has the theme of reparations. Many people have different points of view on the subject of reparations, but no matter where you fall on the topic, I hope that as you listen to this song, you will think to yourself about how you can contribute to our nation moving from untied to united, and what atonement means in practical ways for each one of us to get to that place of at one-ment. This is a song called Reparation Blues. It's only been done maybe one time. It was premiered last year at the awesome Iowa African American Museum in Cedar Rapids. So if you've never been there, I'd strongly recommend that you go. And don't even wait until you can go. Check it out, Google it, and you will learn some stuff. They do such a great job over there. And it's powerful. And these are the kinds of things that you will think of when you are in that space. And so I'm thinking about that space right now. I'm thinking about when we visited the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis. I'm thinking about the news, about seeing all the crowds on the Capitol grounds, on the streets in East Village, in front of the mayor's house, all crying out, wanting to move from untied to united, wanting atonement that brings about at one-ment. And so, enough yapping. Think about those things as you hear these words to a song I call Reparation Blues. I wrote this song, but if you don't like it, Brandon wrote it. I'll give you 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a heavy ancient heartache. It's in need of love and prayer. There's a holy vow that's broken. It's in need of soul repair. You and I were born for dancing in the lovely into mercy's higher place. 40 acres and a mule couldn't take away the weight, and atonement is the key. Yes, atonement is the key to a true united state, to a true united state. Never again less than a man, never again slaves to the land. Forgiveness and freedom, justice so grand. May love heal us all as only love can. There's a heavy, ancient heartache. It's in need of love and prayer. There's a holy vow that's broken. It's in need of soul repair. You and I were born for dancing in the lovely light of grace. Let us rise and lift each other up into mercy's higher place. 40 acres and a mill couldn't take away the weight, and atonement is the key. Yes, atonement is the key to a true united state, to a true united state. Never again less than a man, never again slaves to the land. Forgiveness and freedom and justice so grand. May love heal us all as only love can. Phillips, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, never again, no, less than a man, never again slaves to the land. Forgiveness and freedom and justice so grand. May love heal us all as only love can, as only love can, as only love can. Oh, sing hallelujah, it's coming back. Thank you. Well, this next song is going to feature Blake singing. But before that, to set it up, I know what's going on. I know it's exactly like we planned. And to set it up, once again, our friend, the Honorable, the very lovely, the very adorable, the very gifted Judge Odell McGee.
In tune with what's going on here, and in tune with what Martin Luther King, in tune with what Martin Luther King stood for, I'm going to do a selection called "The Human Family" by Maya Angelou. You know, we are more alike, my friend, than we are unalike. I said, we are more alike, my friend, than we are unalike. You know, I note the obvious differences in the human family. Some of us are serious. Some of us strive on comedy. Some declare their lives are lived in true profundity. And others claim their real lives are the real reality. The variety of our skin tone can bemuse, confuse, delight. Brown and black and beige and red, tan and yellow and white. You know, I've sailed up on the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, but not yet one common man. I've known 10,000 women called Jane and Mary Jane, but I've never seen any two who's really quite the same. Even mirror twins are different, although their features jive. And lovers think quite differently thoughts when lying side by side. Now we loved and lost in China. We wept on English moors. We laughed and moaned in New Guinea and strived on many foreign shores. We seek success in France, are born and die in Maine. You know, in many ways we are different, but in major ways we're the same. I note the obvious difference between each sort and type. But you know what? We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike.
And with the song that builds on those words beautifully and appropriately, here is Blake Shaw and the band.
Love is but a song to sing, and fear's a way to die. You can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing, and you may not know why. Come on, people now, smile at your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go. We shall surely pass. When the one that left us here returns for us at last. We are but a moment in sunlight, fading in the grass. Come on, people, now, smile at your brother. Everybody get together to love one another right now. Down, 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 da 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 la da do, da da bu bu oh, down, ba da 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 no ya, da da do do da down, da 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 bu da do it, da 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 beat down to beat down, but who da 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 but that way up more be down, the dim bottom way up the good down up go but it down, no, it down, loop, down, if you hear the song I sing, you will understand and listen. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. It's there at your command. Oh, come on, people now, smile at your brother. Everybody come together, try to love one another right now. Oh, come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody come together, try to love one another right now. One more time. Come on, people now, smile at your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now, right now, right now, right now, right now,
Right now.
right now, please, right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, to speak and sing, Aaron Smith.
I just wanted to talk real quick about some of the blessings that I've had in theater. Earlier I did a piece from a play by Katori Hall called Mountaintop that is actually about Dr. Martin Luther King. If you couldn't tell from the impersonation, that's who it was. And now I'm going to do a piece by August Wilson that is a biopic piece that he wrote. It's a 90-minute play. I had to try to remember it for 90 minutes, but I'm not going to mess with that tonight. I've got my paper. And I also have to say, what a pleasure it is to be on stage with these amazing musicians. I'm blown away. So, yes, definitely give them a big round of applause. This is a play called How I Learned What I Learned by August Wilson. My ancestors have been in America since the early 17th century. And for the first 200 years, we had no problem finding a job. But since 1863, it's been hell. It's been hell because the ideas and attitudes from Americans about slavery followed slaves out of slavery. Ideas like blacks were subhuman, that they were morally unhealthy, that they were watermelon eating, chicken stealing, lazy, and I can't see because the lights do. So I'm making up stuff. That they were watermelon eating, chicken stealing, oversexed, loud, menacing appendages to the polite, civilized society that Europeans had wrestled from, what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called the wilderness of North America. This is after the polite, civilized Europeans killed all the Indians. In the early 1900s, we cast down our buckets where we were, and they came up empty and filled with the blood and the countless murders and unwanted assaults against our person. So we brought our buckets north, searching for jobs and opportunities to live a life with dignity and whatever eloquences the heart could call upon. My mother came from Spear, North Carolina in 1937 and settled in a neighborhood here in Pittsburgh called the Hill District. In the Hill District in 1937 was the amalgam of the unwanted. Blacks, Syrians, Jews, Italians, Irish, with each ethnic group seeking to cast off the vestiges of the old country, changing names, changing manners, and given a myriad of unlimited opportunities, changing economic circumstances, and moving on, up, in, bludgeoning the malleable parts of themselves, melting into the pot, becoming and defining what it means to be American. You like my shirt? I bought it on eBay. Got it from a man named Clarence Thomas. And when I saw it, I said, oh, I got to get that for my man Justin Bieber. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. And we shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall live in peace someday. This is a song that everybody needs to sing with me. You don't sing this alone. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we've just got a few minutes left. And of course, we had the opportunity to hear about the NAACP a little while ago. And before we go into this final medley, I would like to quickly invite to the stage to tell us about the other group that will be receiving some of the donations tonight, and that is Creative Visions. Maria Philippone, the Queen of Noche, also puts her money and time where her mouth is as a board member of Creative Visions. And so, real quick, I would like to invite Maria to the stage and just give us a word. Tell us about how Creative Visions is doing, what Creative Visions is doing, and how they have stood as a presence in our inner city for so many years for the cause that song was talking about, helping people, helping our city to overcome. Maria, come on down.
Hello. Thank you everybody for joining tonight virtually, or the few less than 10 people we have here. So I have been a board member of Creative Visions since early 2016. Creative Visions was founded in October of 1997 by State Representative Akeo Abdul Samad, who would be here with us tonight if he could be, but he is in session debating bills at the Capitol. So That's why he's not here. And I'm not going to be nearly as eloquent as him, as you all know. But I just want to tell you a little bit about what we do there. We feed hungry people every single week. We give hundreds of meals away. We have a food pantry. We have a crime victim advocacy program through the state government where we help support survivors of violence and their family members after they have been a victim of violence. We have so many, I can't even name all of the services that we offer to them at this point because it's so many. We have a wonderful staff. We have so many other programs that we do to help the greater community. So please consider giving. If you don't want to do it through here tonight, go through their website or find a KO on Facebook or Creative Visions on Facebook. We do so much. We do work that you never hear about or see about. We help so many people. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love you, Teeny.
Thank you, Maria. And now I'd like to invite our last speaker to the stage to help set up our final medley. But before I do, I would like to just say one more round of thanks to these wonderful band members, starting with Jason Danielson and Mr. Blake Shaw, Pete Simonson, Dr. Damani Phillips, special guest Aaron Smith. I want to thank Carly and Brian for behind the scenes work. Technical team, round of applause, everybody. Carly Sandos, Brian Dodson, thank you very much. And last but not least, for the team, the producer of this event, my husband, Brandon Finley. Please give it up for Brandon. And last but not least, to set up this final song with the words of Martin Luther King, right? Right. Once again, for the final word, the Honorable Odell McGee.
Dr. Martin Luther King speaks of his dream in his famous I Have a Dream speech. To conclude tonight, we're going to just recite a little bit of that speech. And he said, I say to you today, my friends, even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heart of injustice, sweltering with the heart of oppression, it will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation that will not be judged by the color of their skins, but by the color of their character. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, with this vicious racist, with this governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join together with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. You know, this is my hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South. With this faith, we will be able to hew out the mountains of despair, a stone of hope. With this faith, we'll be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This is the day when all of God's children will be able to sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, "My country deals of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim pride. From every mountainside, let freedom reign, let freedom reign. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom reign from the prodigal hilltops of the New Hampshire. Let freedom reign from the mountain mountains of New Jersey. Let freedom reign from the hiding Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom reign from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom reign from the marvelous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom reign from the stone mountains of Georgia. Let freedom reign from the Lookout Mountains of Tennessee. Let freedom reign from every hill and every molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom reign. And when that all happens, we'll be able to stand and say, in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. We are all free at last.
Put your hands together here in the room. Yeah. Put your hands together at home. Let's take it out in a blaze of glory. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know a place. Ain't nobody crying. Ain't nobody worried. Ain't no smiling faces. Come on, lying to the races. Lying to the races. All right, lying to the races. Oh, people, can you help me sing? People, can you help me sing? Come on, help me sing. Sing, I'll take you there. Help me sing. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Everybody sing it out. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sing it, sing it, sing it out. Oh, bring it down, bring it down. us there, take us there, take us there. Yeah, 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 take us there. Oh, take us there. Hold the hand, joining hands together. We're gonna take each other to a higher place. Take each other to a higher place. No more hate, only love. No more hate, only love. Only love, only love, only love. Rest in peace, Martin Luther King. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, go! Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Keep it going, come on. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Sing along if you know it. One man come in the name of love. One man come and go. Oh, one man come, he to justify. One man to overthrow. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. Early morning, April 4th, come on. Shot rings out in the Memphis sky. Free at last, they took your life. They could not take your pride. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. Everybody. Oh, 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 oh,
For all of you at home, for those of you in the room, we want to thank you again on behalf of everyone, both with Noche. Again, thank you to the Philippones. Thank you to Max Wellman. Thank you for all of you. The comments that have been coming in all night have been tremendous. So again, we wish you to take not just the words of Dr. King, but the spirit of Dr. King with you as you go. It doesn't matter what you're doing, walking your dog at 2 a.m, doing your daily work grind, teaching your kids, homeschooling during the quarantine. It doesn't matter. What matters is how you do it. So in the spirit of Dr. King, we bid you farewell. We bid you good night, and with much love and peace. And we can be better together. Have a good night, everyone.